All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to the latest edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to join us. And as always, we welcome any suggestions, feedback, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. Before we get started, we once again want to send you all our well wishes as we deal with the current pandemic of COVID-19. As we say on Chin Check Radio, it is the uncertainty that drives our anxiety. We don't know what the future holds. We're trying to get used to this new normal. And unfortunately, this is our lives for the foreseeable future. Let's continue to stop the spread of this virus by following the safety protocols and the health protocols, by continuing to wear our masks, wash our hands, practice social distancing, and let's try to remember that until they come up with some type of cure or vaccine, this is going to be our way of life. This is our new normal, and I know it's hard to accept. We don't like wearing masks all over the place. We all want to show our pretty faces out here. But this is the way that it's going to be for the time being. And we will get through this. This too shall pass until they find a cure. And I really don't want them to rush to find any type of cure either. But while we're here, let's just hunker down. Let's keep on fighting through this. And again, at Chin Check Radio, if we can serve as a distraction with everything that's going on, then that's what we are proud of, and we will continue to do. Secondly, we want to thank you all for your support. It means a lot to us. It seems like every other day I'm getting in contact with someone who is telling us that they happen to just check out our program and they like the content and they like the passion with which we speak. And we thank you all for your support. We're going to continue to provide you quality programming. And again, we do this because we love to do this. We do this because we want to just share our experiences with you all. And you can agree with what we say or disagree with what we say. But the fact that you even taking the time out to listen to us means the world. On this particular broadcast, I wanted to talk some news about the Dallas Cowboys. I know that recently I've been doing more of my boxing programming. But as training camps have started, we're going to start picking up our Dallas Cowboys news out of training camp. And we had our eye on some signings. But to all the players in the NFL, we thank you all for still wanting to play. I know there was talks of players opting out, and a lot of players, in fact, did opt out. And I'm not mad at any one of you who decided to opt out because you had to do what was best for you and your family. So we're not mad at you at all. When you feel the time is right to come back and to get on the playing field, we at Chin Check Radio, I'm sure as well as other sports fans, we will welcome you back with open arms. And for the players who did decide to go to training camp and they want to get back on the field, we thank you very much. We know it's not easy. We know that you all have families as well. So for you all to want to take the field and want to do something that you love, all the more power to you. And we only hope that cases don't get too high like you're starting to see in professional baseball. So guys, thank you and follow the proper protocol. What really got me wanting to do this broadcast was I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks featuring the Los Angeles teams, the Rams and the Chargers. So seeing how teams, were starting to adjust with the new normal. So definitely I found it interesting. Definitely a good indication that football is back. But we are a hub for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys recently signed free agent defensive end Everson Griffen from the Minnesota Vikings. Everson Griffen was a 2010 draft pick, round number 4, pick number 100. Played for the Vikings between 2010 and 2019, a total of 353 tackles, 74.5 sacks, 10 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, 16 pass deflections, and 2 defensive touchdowns. 4 times Pro Bowl, 2015 through 2017 and 2019, second team All-Pro in 2017. Everson Griffen is joining at least on paper, a very formidable defensive line with the addition of free agent Dontari Poe. Dontari Poe drafted in 2012, first round pick number 11. Those of you who don't remember Dontari Poe, he was a 346-pound defensive tackle who ran a 4.9840 at the NFL Combine. And that was shocking. I remember watching that and I was amazed. I'm sure as well as you all were amazed. And coming from a smaller school, Memphis, definitely that was the purpose of the Combine, to find those type of hidden gems. And just seeing his speed and everything else that he brought to the table definitely shot him up to being a first-round draft pick. So Dontari Poe played for the Kansas City Chiefs between 2012 and 2016, the Atlanta Falcons in 2017, the Carolina Panthers 2018 through 2019. 278 total tackles, 20.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, one fumble recovery, and was even used as an offensive player on goal line situations. 2 Pro Bowls, 2013 and 2014, and second team All-Pro in 2013. Lining up next to Dontari Poe should be, on paper, one Gerald McCoy. And the same 2010 draft that Everson Griffin was drafted in the 4th round, Gerald McCoy went number 3, right behind Ndamukong Suh. He played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2010 through 2018, the Carolina Panthers in 2019. 333 total tackles, 59.5 sacks, pass deflections 23, 6 forced fumbles, 6 times Pro Bowl 2012 through 2017, 3 times first team All-Pro 2012 through 2014, second team All-Pro 2016. A very formidable defensive line, and I haven't even forgotten about DeMarcus Tank Lawrence, 2 Pro Bowls 2017 and 2018. So on paper, they definitely have a lot of veterans. I know they're starting to change their defensive philosophy with Mike Nolan being the defensive coordinator. They're getting bigger, especially at the D tackle spot, which I've always felt they were a little bit light the last couple of years. I know they wanted quicker guys under Rod Marinelli. I prefer beefy guys, run stoppers, make a team one-dimensional, have a dominant front 4. And on paper, they should, because if you combine all these guys' Pro Bowls, I'm looking at 14 Pro Bowls on your defensive line. So on paper, it's to be a strength of a team, not counting a returning Leighton Van Der Esch and improving Jalen Smith, Sean Lee for another year. So the secondary still leaves some questions, but I'm definitely impressed with that front 7. They should be good, and I'm definitely expecting big things out of that team. Now, with the signing of Everson Griffin, leaves us with one question mark. Now, you also have Aldon Smith. Let me not forget Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith, whose best years was with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not going to make fun, but whatever he has going on in between his ears, I've always questioned it, because there's been interviews with Aldon Smith showing up on ESPN interviews with hair leaned to the side and has not played in a couple of years. Maybe somebody sees some type of potential in him, but Aldon Smith was a very productive player when he was with the San Francisco 49ers, and in fact was on those San Francisco 49er teams that had Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Dante Whitner, Eric Smith. Ahmad Brooks, Colin Kaepernick was a quarterback, Frank Gore was on that team. So that San Francisco team under Jim Harbaugh, who went to, 3 straight NFC Championship games. They went to the Super Bowl, lost against the Ravens. Aldon Smith was on that team, and they were a very good team, and Aldon Smith was definitely one of their best defensive players. So we can get half of what he did in San Francisco, possibly come off the bench. We'll see what happens as well. But another innocent player who made news recently, and I kept my eye on it, is one Randy Gregory, defensive end from the Dallas Cowboys. And I guess he's been suspended again, and we're going to break all this stuff down. And made some comments that I definitely had to raise my eyebrow on and actually roll my eyes to. So Randy Gregory was drafted in 2015, round number 2, pick number 60. Now, Randy Gregory played well out of Nebraska, was supposed to be a high first-round draft pick. But because he failed a drug test during the combine is what made his numbers go down. Let me say this again, ladies and gentlemen. He failed a drug test at the Combine. Now, the NFL Combine is one big job interview. You do an oral interview with teams. They check your measurables, your athleticism, your speed, your strength, all the different high jumps and drills that they make you do. It is one big interview. Some people say a glorified meat market. We'll have that conversation for another day. But you are auditioning yourself to be drafted by a team who is potentially going to pay you millions of dollars, and you knew it was coming. Clearly, you couldn't discipline yourself not to do any drugs, and you failed a drug test at the Combine. That's a serious red flag, and that's why he dropped to round number 2, number 60. Jerry Jones always liked to take high-risk guys who have the potential for production, takes Randy Gregory. And Randy Gregory really had an uneventful rookie season. Did not get his first tackle until week number 10 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, in 2015 was a year that Tony Romo broke his clavicle, missed a bunch of time, and the Cowboys only won one game without Tony Romo as a starting quarterback. I was at that game in Tampa Bay. That was Jameis Winston's rookie year. So he had his first tackle in that game, no sacks in his rookie season. Now, let me run some numbers by you all and see if I'm tripping or not. Randy Gregory, since being drafted in 2015, a second-round pick. Usually second-round picks are supposed to be on the field. So, Randy Gregory, a total of 45 tackles, 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in 5 seasons. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Let me read a little bit about Randy Gregory's history. Randy Gregory, in February 9th, 2016, failed a drug test. Another drug test, by the way. Suspended for 4 games. Months later, failed a second drug test, is given 10 games. November of that same year, fails another drug test. On January 3rd, 2017, is suspended for 1 season. So he missed the entire 2017 season. In July of 2018, is given conditional reinstatement. Actually has a pretty decent season in 2018 as the defense started to take shape. Tank Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith. Has 6 sacks, which is actually second on the team. So if you just listen to what I said earlier, out of his 7 total career sacks, 6 of them were in 2018. That's a problem now, isn't it, folks? In February of 2019, fails yet another drug test and is suspended for the 2019 season. But recently, Randy Gregory was on the news, and I definitely passed this on to some friends of mine, August 5th, 2020, and Randy Gregory wrote on social media. Actually, before I get to that, let me give you a list of some players who was drafted after Randy Gregory, and specifically some defensive players who were drafted after Randy Gregory. Pro Bowl player, you might have heard of him. Round number 2, pick number 63. Defensive end Frank Clark, who was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, now with the champion Kansas City Chiefs, who played a vital role in the Super Bowl run and just got a huge contract extension. Pro Bowler, round number 3, pick number 88. Defensive end Daniel Hunter, out of the Minnesota Vikings. Round number 4, pick number 101, defensive end Trey Flowers of the New England Patriots, who guided the Patriots to Super Bowls, now with the Detroit Lions. Round number 4, Pro Bowler, number 122, defensive end Zadarius Smith, drafted by the Ravens, now with the Green Bay Packers. Pro Bowler, round number 4, pick number 124, linebacker Quan Alexander, drafted by Tampa Bay, now the San Francisco 49ers. Pro Bowler, round 5, pick number 137, defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons and is still a productive player. And so I just gave you Randy Gregory stats and compared to the players who came after him. Now, let me read what Randy Gregory had to say why he's waiting on reinstatement. And by the way, all in all, this man has failed 7 drug tests. since being in the NFL. Let me say this again. 7 drug tests in the NFL. And I'm not trying to make light of substance abuse. Let me say this now on Chin Check Radio. Clearly the man might have some substance abuse issues. He has blown off NFL investigators before, not cooperating with them. So I'm not trying to say that drug abuse and substance abuse is not a problem. I have an issue with the lack of accountability in this statement. Here we go. Randy Gregory, and I quote on social media, "I really miss playing football and being a player in the NFL. I'm doing everything that is asked of me, and I'm in great shape physically, mentally, and emotionally. But I'm being held back from furthering my career because of COVID and testing. I've been ready to play and test for months, but still have got little to no help to resolve my reinstatement. I'm asking more questions than I'm getting answered. It's amazing that Paris can keep passing the buck and also use this pandemic as a way to prevent me from joining my team. Telling me to just sit and wait in limbo over things I can't control, all the while doing everything right off the field is unfair and flat out wrong." Randy, you feel some type of way that the NFL is keeping you away from the field, and you're forgetting your other 7 suspensions since being in the league, not counting you failing a drug test at the combine, and yet you're showing no accountability. Man, please stop. Just stop. The reason why you're in this position now, Randy, is because of your carelessness, because of your negligence, because of your lack of control, and because of your lack of discipline. No, it's time to let this man hear some truth. Everything that has happened to you since you've been in the NFL, it has been your fault. I saw the Charles Haley documentary of The Football Life when he was helping the team out, and you were a specific player that you were the specific player that former head coach Jason Garrett wanted Hall of Famer Charles Haley to work with, specifically you, and he felt that, and you were wearing number 94, the same number as Charles Haley, and he felt that Charles Haley being a Hall of Famer would somehow rub off on you. And I remember Charles Haley actually trying to coach you up and telling you, to get back up on the line and trying to give you pointers and hints and talking to you one-on-one. So stop with the excuses. We're not going to try to baby you. You're a grown-ass man. I need you to take some damn accountability. So guess what? If you're sitting or you're waiting in limbo and you don't know what to do, tough, brother, tough. Because all these suspensions that I just read, knowing Jerry Jones, he has put things in place to try to help you. He took a chance on you. And by the way, the team still even signed you. I don't know why personally. Me personally, it's time to cut bait because again, you show me flashes and brilliance. I don't need flashes. I don't need little stuff here and there. I need consistency because I read to you a bunch of players who were drafted after you who are productive players in the league now going into their 5th year. You have gone spells. You have missed 30 of 32 games because of suspension. No, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to baby you. These are choices that you made, substance abuse and issue notwithstanding. But at some point, you're a grown-ass man, and you are supposed to wake up and smell the coffee and grow up. So what that tells me is there is no accountability. There is a lack of responsibility. And I hope any Cowboys GM, owner, somebody high up read that article, is going to listen to this broadcast and make a hard decision. I'm sure you're a nice guy. But guess what? We're talking about production on the field, and I'm looking at a series of mistakes, mistake after mistake after mistake. When people have tried to work with you, they have extended you every olive branch of help that you're supposed to get, and yet and still you keep on screwing up and even say that garbage. I found that very disheartening, quite frankly. And at some point, brother, you grow up. If you don't even make the Cowboys, do I still want you to resume your NFL career? Yes, sir. Absolutely. I don't think you should be banned from the league. I feel that you should still play and at least have a chance to play. But at some point, I believe in personal accountability. And I don't hear that from you. I hear that when I've done everything that I've been asked to do and I'm still in limbo and because of COVID and testing. Brother, you were suspended seasons way before COVID was even a damn thought. So miss me with that garbage. You're in this position because you put yourself in a position because your lack of discipline and your lack of self-control. That's why you're in a position now, and that's why you're in limbo as the season gets started. So, Randy, brother, you've been messing up, and now the chickens come home to roost, and now you feel, because you cleaned your act up, so to speak, now people should march to the beat of your drum. That's not how life works. So we hope it works out for you, but guess what? If it doesn't, so be it. So that's pretty much all we had to say. We wanted to give our 2 cents on the situation. So until the next time, this is Chin Check Radio signing off.